Good morning, fourth graders. Welcome to Wonderful Wednesday. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday today, and I hope you're all ready for our third day of our mobile math class. Do you have that pencil ready? How about that math book? Let's go ahead and get started out with a game. So how this game is going to work today, I'm going to need you to stand up wherever you are and move to one side of the room. All right, get up, stand up, go to the other side of the room. Now that you're there, I'm going to show you a flashcard. If you answer correctly, you get to move to the other side of the room. And you can only move sides when you have answered correctly, okay? If we make a mistake, stay put until you answer correctly the next time, okay? I'm going to show you some cards, and they are all mixed numbers. A mixed number is a whole number and a fraction side by side. Your job is to change these from mixed numbers to improper fractions. Remember our 3 steps to do that? Multiply the bottom, add the top, keep the same denominator. Here we go. You try to answer before I do. If you don't answer before I do, or you say the incorrect answer, stay put. 25/6. If you answer correctly or answer before I did, move to the other side of the room. 74/9. 38/7. It's seventh because the 7 is the denominator. 24/5. 55/6. I bet some of you were able to switch sides on that one. 2 more. 15/4. 25/6. Good job. You may go ahead and have a seat. Let's go ahead and review a couple of things, but first, I brought something in today from Tegan. If you remember Tegan, she got me this little magnet before she left on her tour around the world with her family. So this kind of reminds me of our Oreo, okay, our mascot in our class. So I would like for you to take a look at number 1A, 9 divided by 2/3. 9 divided by 2/3. So when we're dividing fractions, they still have the same names. Dividend, divisor, and my answer is the quotient. But when we are dividing fractions, remember our rule, keep the first one, change the sign, flip the final fraction. Only one of these will be flipped or inverted. Do you remember which one we flip? Do we flip the 9 or do we flip the 2/3? We flip the 2/3. I'm going to put our little guy right here because this is the one that's going to be changed or inverted. Go ahead and take your pencil, and our instructions say that we are to circle the one that's going to be inverted or flipped upside down. Very good. 2/3 is the one that we'll need to flip or invert. Let's look at letter B. 7 divided by 1/4. Will the 7 be flipped, or will the 1/4 be flipped or inverted? Let's see if our guy goes to the right spot. If you circled the 7, we need to erase. Let's go ahead and circle the 1/4. This is the one that needs to be inverted or turned upside down. You will do all of section 1 exactly the same way. Now, section 2 is a little different. They have already done all the work for us. It's your time to be the teacher. So, take a look. Section 2. The student has already done all their work, but some of these were careful students and some not so much. If the student has done the work in your book incorrectly, we need to circle their answer. That means they need to go back and redo that one. Let's take a look. 6 divided by 2/3. Nothing wrong with that. That's just the problem as it is. They remembered that they could only divide a fraction by a fraction, so they made 1, fraction bar 1. They changed the sign. They flipped the final fraction. Do you see how they did that? They flipped it. 3/2. They remembered cancellation, which is great. We can divide by 2 here. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now let's check their multiplication. 3 times 3 is, I hope you didn't say 6. We're tempted to, right? Because 6 plus 3 plus 3 is 6. But notice we're not adding, we're multiplying. So 6 times 6 is equal to what, students watching? Yes, 9. So they made a mistake right here. I believe that this student added instead of multiplied. But either way, their answer is incorrect, and we have to be exact in math. So let's circle this as an incorrect answer. You will do all of section 2 the same way. However, some students were careful working, and you will not need to circle anything. Some we will need to circle. Moving on to section 3. Section 3 is we are reviewing our new concept for this week, which is dividing fractions. Remember, it's not KFC, it's KCF. Keep the first fraction just the way it is. Change the sign from division to multiplication. Flip the final fraction. But remember, we can only divide a fraction by a fraction. We don't have one, so we what, class? We make one. Now remember our KCF. Keep the dividend just the way it is. Change your sign from division to multiplication. Flip the final fraction. Alliteration. 4/3. Multiply like we always do. 8 times 4 is 32. 1 times 3 is 3. Let's look at that fraction, 32/3. Is that proper? No, ma'am. It's an improper fraction. So the 32 needs to go inside the division house, and we will divide by 3. How many 3's go into 3? 1, with none left over. Some of you might need to work it out to the side. If so, not a problem. That's what your yellow spiral is for. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract, we get 0. Compare, 0 is smaller. Bring down the 2. 3 goes into 2. How many times? None, because 2 is too small. So it goes in there 0 times. 0 times 3, anything times 0 is 0. Subtract, we get 2. Write your leftovers as a fraction. So instead of bringing down, bring your remainder up. 2/3. So our final answer is 10 2/3 for our final answer. Today, not only are we reviewing dividing fractions, but we're also doing a little bit of review with our temperature converting. Remember, we do have 2 scales of temperature. We have Fahrenheit, what we use here in the United States, and we have Celsius that pretty much everywhere else in the world uses, except for 2 other countries besides ourselves. So what we have here is we have a Fahrenheit temperature, 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Remember, Fahrenheit is always capitalized, and we always have a period at the end because this is an English abbreviation. Celsius is metric. It will not have a period at the end because it's a metric abbreviation, and that is the rule for that. So the formula that we will need is the formula for what we're trying to find. We are looking for Celsius, so we need to be reminded of the Celsius formula. Say this with me. C equals 5/9 times parentheses F minus 32. Now, students watching, what do those parentheses mean? Do me first, do me first, do me first. We have to do what's in the parentheses first. But before we do that, we always need to write the formula first. That's the first thing that I always do is write the formula first. Say it with me. C equals, I'm not hearing you. Are you saying it with me? Okay, let's try that again. C equals 5/9 times parentheses F minus 32. Now this C for Celsius reminds me that I'm going to have two things that look like C's, the parentheses. So this is my little clue. If I'm looking for Celsius, I need to have the parentheses there. Now, what do I do next? I erase and replace. I erase the F and I replace it with what F is. F is 86. The parentheses, remember, that means do me first. We have to do what is in the parentheses first, or we could get the wrong answer. So let's go ahead and subtract. Take 2 from 6, 4. Take 3 from 8 is 5. Let's use our regular multiplying rules. We can only multiply a fraction by a fraction. We don't have one, so we make 1. Our best friend in fractions is cancellation. Let's look diagonally. 9 and 54. We can't cancel that by dividing by the smallest number here, the smaller number, which is 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1. 54 divided by 9 is, if you answered 6, good job. I love that you say it with me. I hope that you are. Thank you so much for those of you that are. Now let's multiply the regular way. 5 times 6 is 30 over 1. But we know if we have 30 over 1, it's just equal to the top number. So I'm going to put 30 degrees. This is my answer. I'm going to bring it up to the top and put it in my answer blank for today. Great job. Thank you for doing that with me. I do miss hearing your voices though. So, Jordan, I hope you're paying attention because this story problem is for you. And you know, Jordan, if you were in my classroom right now, I would have you read this. But since you're not here, I'm going to read it for us today. But everybody pay attention. It's spelled a little differently, but I'm going to think of our Jordan. 5A. Jordan made 3/5 of a recipe that called for 2 1/3 cups of sugar. How much sugar was needed? Ooh, Jordan, what are you making? And send some to me. Okay, so first of all, we're going to solve this the cubes method, and that means to circle the numbers that are in the story problem. Hopefully, you've already taken your pencil and you circled 3/5 and you circled 2 1/3. Next is we box our key word. The key word tells us what process we're going to be doing here. Did you hear and see the key word? It was of. Of tells us to do what? Multiply. Remember, check your yellow spiral. We have all of those special words that we've talked about thus far in that yellow spiral. But according to our rule, we can only multiply a fraction by a fraction. This is a mixed number, so we need to change that. Remember, Peyton, this is where we do our cartwheel, our backward C. So 3/5 times, whoop, there's our backward C. We multiply the bottom, add the top, keep the same denominator. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 makes 7. Keep the same what? Denominator. For a fraction's best friend is what? Cancellation. I'm dividing by 3 here. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Multiplying fractions is no problem. Top times top. 1 times 7 is 7. Bottom times bottom. 5 times 1 is 5. Now, before you circle that problem, let's examine it. It's improper. 1 2/5. We did it. Well, we are out of time for today. Here's what I need you to do next. Go ahead and take a look at this page first. Do as much as you can. The back page is all review, nothing new. But if you come into any struggles, remember, do the best that you can, circle it, and let's talk about it during our FaceTime. Love you guys. Keep on going. See you soon. Bye-bye.